Hey class, it's Ashley and I'm back with another mentoring moment. And today I'm going to talk about, is your boss making you look bad? Too often I see high achieving women serving under the leadership of people who are not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not giving. Their bosses are not giving what they're supposed to give. And it has high achieving women out here looking kind of foolish. Your grandmother ever tell you that saying that, like, if you hang around fools, like, people from afar can't tell the difference, or you hang around people, you know, who are not smart or who are making bad decisions, it corrupts good manners. Like, when you have bad leadership in your career, when you're being led by a supervisor, a leader, a manager who doesn't really know what they're doing, or they aren't really leading you in a way that drives action or support of you in your career, it can really make you look bad and it can ruin your reputation. And so we have to be really thoughtful about the people that we let lead us. We have to be really thoughtful about staying under bad leadership. We have to be really thoughtful about what our bosses say to us and how we internalize those messages, how it makes us feel, and just like staying stuck under leadership that we know is no longer serving us. Because quite frankly, it could have you out here looking bad. If your boss is an idiot, if your boss is not smart, if your boss is not proactive, if your boss is not inclusive, if your boss is not thoughtful, if your supervisor is, quite frankly, like a shit show, they're going to have you out here looking really bad too. And that's something that can absolutely ruin your career and your career development. And so I want to talk to you about, like, maybe your boss is out here got you looking a little not so good. I want to talk to you about some of the signs of that. And then I want to talk to you about what to do about it, right? Like what to do if your boss has you out here looking bad. So let's dive in. So some of the signs that your boss has you looking bad, or like is making you look bad, is first, they're constantly questioning you or second guessing your expertise, especially in front of others. So when you have a boss who's making you look bad, they constantly like, well, Ashley, are you sure? Or how do you know that? Or did you check with Bob, Susan, Karen, Mike, and whoever before you came in, asked that question, or before you made that statement? Or, you know, I'm not sure if that's accurate, right? They're constantly questioning you in front of other people. That's a sign that your boss might be trying to make you look bad, or that they are currently making you look bad. Like they are not signal boosting you, highlighting you, promoting you, supporting you in a way that's actually like supportive. They're just basically like questioning you in front of other people. This is particularly bad if your boss is questioning you in front of like your subordinates or people you supervise, or in front of your colleagues or your peers. Like this is a real problem. And bosses that do this, I don't know, it's just a bad look. Like no boss should be like belittling you or making you look bad or questioning you in front of other people. Like, I mean, it's certainly okay to like challenge your staff, or, challenge someone in a public meeting, or, ask for clarification, but to constantly question you and your expertise in front of other people, that's a sign your boss is making you look bad. Sign number 2, they're micromanaging your every move, allowing little autonomy or creative expression in your work. If you have a boss who literally does not allow any flexibility in your work, if they're constantly monitoring your time, your movements, your activities, your work, if you have a supervisor who's regularly like on top of you, what you doing, where you going, what's going on with this project, what time you coming in, what time you leaving. Like if you have a boss who's constantly micromanaging you, that's a sign that your boss is making you look bad. Because anybody who trusts their team, right? Anybody who trusts the people that they're working with, they're not going to be constantly monitoring those people's every move. If you have a boss, if you have a supervisor who's constantly monitoring your every move, that's a sign that they likely don't trust you, right? That's a sign that They don't value you. That's a sign that they're questioning your work ethic or your work performance if they're constantly micromanaging your every move. And that makes you look bad. Like, yes, definitely it makes them look bad, but it makes you look bad too, because everybody's wondering, why does she have to be constantly monitored? Why does she have to be constantly watched? Why do people have to be on her back for her to get things done, right? Like, even if that's not true, if you have a boss or a supervisor who's constantly monitoring your work, who's constantly monitoring your work activities, who's constantly like doesn't allow you any autonomy or flexibility or creative expression in your work, if they're always like, oh no, do it exactly like this, no, I don't want to see any changes, no, you can't do that, no, you can't change this, no, this isn't gonna work, if that's a constant conversation you're having with your supervisor, they're making you look bad, because there's no creative expression, there's no autonomy, there's no flexibility in your work. It's like, it's got to be like this, it's got to be like this, it's got to be like this, and there's no opportunity for growth and advancement when the work has to be X, Y, Z, A, B, C, right? And so that's definitely a sign that your boss is making you look bad. If they're micromanaging your every move, if you feel like they're on top of you every day, that's a sign that they're making you look bad, that it's going to affect your reputation down the road. Okay, so sign number three that your boss is making you look bad is that maybe they're taking your ideas as their own without crediting or acknowledging you and your work. So have you ever had a supervisor like say something in a meeting, you're like, wait, I said that to them last week? Or maybe it's happened with a coworker, right? You've had a coworker who like you were, sitting in a meeting and they're like, well, actually I have a good idea. And they raise their hand and they're talking about something that you talked to them about 3 weeks ago. And you're like, hold up. Wait a minute, didn't I talk about that? Or didn't I just say that? Like, nobody heard me when I said it, but all of a sudden, Malika say it, and now it's a great idea. Like, what the heck is going on, right? And so that it's called gaslighting. It's a specific type of gaslighting called usurping, and it is like a really problematic strategy. Like, it's a really problematic strategy that people who are manipulative and who are gaslighters use to discount you and your work. And so if your boss regularly does that to you, if your boss regularly is like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea, let me use that in the meeting, and they never credit you, they never thank you for your good ideas, they never signal boost you in the meeting, if they never do any of that work, that's a real concern, and that's a sign that your boss is making you look bad. And they're mostly making you look bad, especially if you're not speaking up for yourself, if you're not advocating after that. If you allow your supervisor to take your good ideas, to usurp you, to gaslight you, and you don't say, hey, actually, that was my idea. Hey, Bob, I want to pause you because that's something I share with you in confidence. And it sounds like now you're ready to share with the team, but I did want to share some updates before you shared it. Like, if you don't interrupt that, if you don't have a strategy to interrupt those kind of bad behaviors, then that ends up being a really problematic relationship, and it starts to make you look bad, because then what happens is you are trying to advocate for yourself, and now you're the angry Black woman who's always got a problem, right? It like turns into this whole thing. So these are all signs that like your boss is making you look bad, right? Like that your boss is controlling the narrative, if you will. And your boss is like putting things out there that aren't allowing you to thrive in the way that you should at this point in your career. And I know that like so many professional women just want autonomy. They just want flexibility. They just want to not have somebody breathing down their neck. They just want a supportive supervisor, someone who they can look to as a mentor, as a sponsor, someone who, can guide them, can develop them, can walk alongside them, right? And let me know if that resonates with you. Just type a 1 in the chat if you're like, yes, Ashley, like I really desire somebody at this point in my career who like actually cares about me and actually wants to see me succeed and, can mentor me and provide me with feedback and isn't going to gaslight me or isn't going to micromanage me or isn't going to correct me in front of a team full of people. Just type a 1 in the chat if that resonates with you. And like, that's the kind of leadership and supervision you're looking for at this stage in your career. Not someone who's going to be, what are you doing? Where you at? What's going on? But somebody who actually like trusts that you are an expert and allows you to do your work like you desire to do it, right? If your boss is constantly making you look bad, right? If they're constantly gaslighting you, if they're constantly lying on you, if they're constantly usurping your ideas, if they're constantly micromanaging you and like breathing down your neck about every little thing, if you don't feel like you can trust your supervisor and if you don't feel like they trust you, that's a sign that they're making you look bad. And it's also a sign that perhaps you haven't properly learned how to, or haven't learned how to effectively apply strategies around managing up, right? And managing up is a leadership strategy. It's a leadership strategy that I actually teach in my Mentor Me Accelerator in session 7. And I teach high achieving professional women how to, one, understand who their managers and leaders are, 2, understand what makes those types of managers and leaders tick, and 3, how to manage up, how to lead their managers and supervisors in a way that allows them to lead their own career and not have the career led by a bad boss, by a bad manager or supervisor who maybe doesn't have their best interests at heart. And so I think that not knowing how to manage up, not knowing how to lead from where you are, not knowing those strategies often has women, even when they have a job that they really enjoy, they often feel stuck, right, in a space where they're constantly in a relationship with a supervisor where it's like, they don't let me do this, they don't let me do that, I can't never do this, I can't never do that, they don't listen to me, they don't trust me, I'm so frustrated by them, right? Like there's this constant battle and tug of war with the supervisor, and nobody wants that. I mean, obviously I know that you don't want that, but quite frankly, your supervisor doesn't want it either. Like they're not benefiting from arguing with you and micromanaging you and breathing down your neck either. I mean, they're not benefiting. They're wasting their time, especially if you're a capable and competent professional. And so, I think one of the things that's why it's so important for me as a mentor to teach my mentees how to manage up and how to lead from where they are, so they're not constantly stuck in a relationship with a supervisor who doesn't appreciate them, who doesn't value the expertise that they have, and doesn't allow them the autonomy and support and flexibility that they desire at this point in their career to really advance their career in the ways that they desire. Whether your supervisor provides a lot of leadership and direction and support, or whether your boss is a, absolute micromanager and breathing down your neck and doesn't support you at all, or whether your boss is absentee and completely uninvolved and not supportive at all, whoever your manager or leader is, managing up stops the issue of them making you look bad by letting you implement strategies to lead from where you are and to get what you want out of work. Managing up teaches mentees how to, one, understand the archetype of their supervisor. So every supervisor has an archetype, or a way in which they lead, a way in which they supervise. There's a number of different archetypes, and I teach all of them in session 7 of the Mentor Me Accelerator. So then we evaluate who your boss is based on the archetype types, and then from there we develop an actionable plan for you to manage up and lead your boss, which is aligned with your with your supervision style, what you need from a leader, and it's aligned with what you desire at this point in your career, and it's aligned with who they are. So we match the archetypes with the type of leader you have and the type of leader you need to be successful in your career, and then I teach you how to apply that strategy with your manager and your leader to get real results and better support from your leaders and managers in your organization. And it's a really powerful experience, because so often high achieving women are like, I don't need all of this micromanaging. I don't need nobody breathing down my neck. I know how to do my job. I'm an expert at this. I don't need a supervisor who's all over me. And other mentees are like, I need a manager who can support me, someone who I can look up to, someone who can serve as a mentor, someone who can guide me. And whatever you need in supervision, there's no shame in that. Whether you need a lot of support at this stage in your career, or you actually need someone to kind of give you some autonomy and back, whatever you need, session 7 helps break down who your supervisor is and teaches you a strategy to get them in alignment with what you need so you can thrive as a professional. And I think the counterintuitive thing that I want to invite you all into as you listen to today's live is that so often we're like, I just need to put my head down and do the work and just ignore them because they ain't gonna do what I asked them to do. They don't listen to me. I don't feel supported, and I'm just gonna go get a new job, right? I'm just gonna get a new job. I'm just gonna get out of this organization because I need to move on, whatever, right? And I get that, right? Like, I understand the need to feel like I can't do this anymore. I'm unhappy in this role, and I want to find and secure a new role where I'm seen, where I'm valued, where I'm heard, where I'm paid well, where my work is respected, and where I don't feel disrespected and undermined by my supervisor, right? Like, if that's you, just throw some hearts up on the screen. If you're like, often, Ashley, I'm just like, I got to get out of this organization. I can't stay here. I'm unhappy in this organization. I don't feel like, I'm valued or respected here. So I need to just go find a new job, right? Like, let me know if that resonates with you, if you've ever felt like that. Because I think that a lot of professional women come to me for that very reason. Like, I just need to find a new job. I just need an out, right? And right, what I know to be true is that there is no dream job, right? There is no utopia of the world of work. Work will be challenging for the rest of our days. It doesn't mean that it has to be hard or insurmountable, or that you have to put up with racism or sexism or discrimination or, inappropriate behavior. But work, will likely be challenging, right? And so instead of shrinking from that challenge and hiding from that challenge and just saying, I'm just gonna put my head down and do the work and I'm just gonna ignore them and I'm just gonna get through this, or saying, oh, you know what, I'm just going to go quit this job and go get another job. I just need to move on. I don't have time for this. Instead of like those two opportunities, the counterintuitive thing that I want to invite you into is learning how to manage up, right? Learning how to lead from where you are, learning how to manage your manager, so that you no longer are in this constant battle of this person isn't giving me what I need. There is no perfect manager. There is no perfect supervisor. There's no one who's going to be perfectly aligned with your leadership style. And that's okay, because learning how to manage up, right? Learning how to lead allows you to manage your manager to your expectations, not the other way around. So regardless of who they are, you can manage them and you can lead them to meet your expectations and get what you want out of work, right? And that's what I teach in session 7 of the Mentor Me Accelerator. And that's why that session is so powerful, because it takes the power out of the employer's hands. It takes the power out of the supervisor's hands. It takes the power out of the boss's hands. And so in a space where your boss maybe was making you look bad, where they were gaslighting you, where they were usurping you, where they were taking your good ideas, where they were breathing down your neck, where they never valued you, now you can set expectations with a supervisor, right? And you can say, this is what I'll need from you to be successful. And you can hold them accountable following the strategies in session 7, so we can drive your supervisor to action on your behalf. It's a really transformative experience when it's no longer, well, my boss ain't doing what I need them to do, and my boss ain't giving me what I want, and I just don't feel supported. And it's a really powerful experience to move from like a victim mentality of my boss isn't giving me what I need and my boss isn't supporting me in the ways that I desire, to I've learned how to manage up. I've learned how to lead from where I am. I've learned my boss's archetype, and I've learned how to leverage who my boss is to get what I want out of work. Just throw some hearts up on the screen if you're like, hallelujah, Ashley, I need to learn how to manage up. And you're like, yes, I need to figure out who my boss is so that I can learn how to talk to them in a way that's going to get the needle moving on what I need. And let me be clear that I think a lot of times when I talk about managing up, a lot of people are like, oh, Ashley's going to teach me how to suck up. I'm not going to do all that, Ashley. I like to be authentic. I'm not going to be kissing ass, Like, I get it, right? I hear that a lot. Oh no, I'm very authentic. I'm not going to do anything that I don't want to do. I'm not getting to know my boss. I'm not going to coffee with them. I'm not going to drinks with them. I'm not finna learn about their dog and their kids and blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what managing up is. That literally is sucking up. And I don't teach people how to suck up. I operate from an extreme place of integrity, child. I am not going to teach you how to suck up. I am not going to teach you how to suck up. What I am going to teach you how to do is how to be strategic about leveraging the relationship with your supervisor so that you can get what you want. Right? So often high achieving women, even when they're in a role of leadership, are like, let me just put my head down. Let me just do the work. I ain't gonna ask no questions. I ain't gonna say nothing. That's not helping your that's not helping your career thrive. That's not helping your relationship with your supervisor thrive. And it's not helping you because you're consistently being micromanaged and they keep making you look bad. They keep taking your ideas. You keep saying nothing. Or then you get positioned as the angry woman when you do say something. It's like a never-ending bad cycle. But instead, I want to invite you to learn how to manage up, how to lead from where you are, how to navigate the relationship with your supervisor from an empowered place. Not from a victimized place that says, I have to take it. I have to put up with craziness from them. I have to deal with foolishness from them because they're the supervisor and I'm the subordinate, right? When you know how to manage up, then you know how to navigate the relationship and the expectations, and then you can speak to them in a manner that's going to make them take action on your behalf, right? And it's not manipulation. It's not sucking up. It's not being inauthentic. It's being intentional. It's being strategic. It's being thoughtful. It's not a one-size-fits-all strategy. You need to learn who your boss is. And learning who your boss is isn't about well, what do they like to do after they leave work? And, what's their zodiac sign? Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, how does this person lead? How does this person receive information? What impresses this person? What makes them tick? What drives them to action? What do they shy away from? What do they get excited about, right? We go through an entire assessment of your leader, right? Of your supervisor. And for my mentees who are transitioning careers, we go through an assessment to start to build out what kind of manager and leader you need in your next organization to make sure that person is meeting your needs, right? Right? So we build out what you desire. And so then when you go on an interview, you're not, oh, baby, please, let me get this job. You're like, no, this is what I need from a supervisor in this next role. You're interviewing with the supervisor. Can you provide this level of support to me? Right? Because my mentees are not going to beg for jobs. Like, they're experts. They're well positioned in the marketplace. They're a plethora of jobs out here. They're just working to identify which of the roles they desire to work at this stage in their career. Right? Because I serve such high achieving women, because I serve women at that are like professionals at a certain level, they already have social capital. They're just not using it. They kind of sit on their social capital and they never use it. They never spend it. They never release it. Right? They're hoarders of social capital. And some of them don't even know that they have social capital or what social capital is or how to use it. And so, but they have it, right? They just don't know it. And so my job as a mentor is to help you, one, identify what social capital is, two, learn how to use it effectively, and then release the tension to hoard social capital. And I teach my mentees how to release it, right? Release it back into the world, back into their work, so that they can benefit from the social capital that they already have, and they can use it to get what they want in their career, right? And that's what I do as a mentor. I'm so glad that reframe was helpful, because I think so often, like, high achieving women are like, I need more. I did a live yesterday that talked about how the PhD and the master's degree is not a marketing strategy. It's not a marketing tool. It doesn't make you more marketable. And that's not because I don't think you should go get your master's degree. It's not because I don't think you should go get your PhD. It's because it's about positioning. It's about positioning. It's so critical that you learn how to use the degree, the credentials, the skill sets, the knowledge that you already have. Too often we're chasing more. And what I want to invite high achieving women to do is to learn how to use what you have. You have so much. You have so much knowledge, so many skills, right? You have so much talent, so much expertise. But your boss is constantly making you look bad because you don't know how to manage up. You already know a lot about your boss, but you don't know how to use what you know to get what you want. But that's what I teach in the accelerator. Because you already know them. You already kind of know what makes them tick. You already know what makes them mad. You already kind of know when they get hype about stuff. Right? And if I can ask you those questions and uncover that, and we can start to build a plan for you to take action on that relationship, then we can really have a transformative experience with you and your supervisor that can help you make more money and have more impact at work. Because right now you're in a place of frustration. You're in a place of extreme frustration and anger and disappointment and disillusionment because you have this crappy supervisor who isn't supporting you in the ways that you desire, and you want out. You want out of this relationship. You maybe want out of this job. You want out of this organization. You might even want out of this industry. You actually, I need to be in a whole new industry, flat out, right? Right? You're I can't even deal with this in this industry anymore. But regardless of what industry you go to, you're going to need to learn how to manage up. You're going to need to know how to manage up, how to lead from where you are, how to leverage the relationship with your supervisor to get what you want out of them so that you can thrive in the organization, so you can thrive in your industry, so that you can make more money and have more impact. And for those of you who are like, Ashley, there is no way I'm staying at this job. I have got to get out of here. For those of you who are looking to move into a new role and leave your current supervisor behind, don't worry. When you get to session 7, we'll be building an archetype of what you desire your future supervisor to look like. So that when you are job searching, when you're going on interviews, right? When you're in front of an employer, you can begin to understand you can begin to understand what questions to ask the employer to make sure that they will serve you. Too often, because you get desperate, when you start to job search, you're like, oh, I hope I get the interview. I hope I get the call back. No, we're not searching from a place of desperation anymore. We're searching from a place of empowerment, right? We're searching from a place of leveled up, right? Which means that when we go into these interviews, we're asking the tough questions about if they're a good fit for us. Not just if we're a good fit for them. We're not just hoping we answer interview questions right. We're asking really thoughtful questions about them to identify if they're an organization that we desire to give our talents and expertise, right? Which means that no longer are you just taking in, oh, well, they pay good, so I guess I'll work here. Or yeah, they pay crappy, but they got good benefits. Or you're not bartering so much. You're getting all of what you desire. At this stage in your career, let's just go ahead and get all of what we desire. Let's not barter too much, right? Let's not do too many trade-offs. Let's not vow a life of poverty. Let's not vow a life of poverty, right? Because we want to help people. Let's help people and get paid well, right? And so for those of you who are looking to find and secure a new role, when we get to session 7, we'll be talking about how to ask the right kind of questions in an interview to make sure the supervisor and leader at this organization is going to be aligned with what you need in a supervisor or leader at this stage in your career. Learning how to manage up, learning how to lead, learning how to prevent your boss from making you look bad is a high level skill, and it's one that high achieving women need, particularly those in corporate, nonprofit, and educational leadership. You need to learn how to manage your manager. You need to learn how to advocate for yourself in the workplace. You need to learn how to challenge your organization. You need to learn how to set some boundaries with your supervisor, right? That's a skill though. It's not you just go into work one day and say, okay, now I have the confidence to say no. It doesn't work like that. It's a skill. And it's a skill that I teach in the Mentor Me Accelerator. I want to invite you to be a part of the September cohort. I'm so excited to serve you. I'm so excited to help you make more money and have more impact in your career through learning to manage up so that your boss is no longer making you look bad. If that sounds like what you need, I want to invite you on a call with me this week. And I'm so excited to bring in new mentees into the program and really help you transform the way that you think about your career development, the ways in which you interact and engage with the leaders in your organization, and teach you how to finally learn how to manage up so you can take action in your career development. Apply to the accelerator today at mentor-me.org. That website again is mentor-me.org. I'm accepting new mentees right now, and I cannot wait to serve you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.